We are live.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
It's not a perfect system by any stretch.
You're not a perfect system.
That is very true. Kristen will attest to that. Okay.
We're doing
30 seconds, yes.
30 seconds of
C.
3
Mm-hmm.
Whose head is in my hand?
Jesus Christ.
Is the battery dead? What happened?
Oh, no. Did we leave it on last week?
Oh, no. Wah, wah, wah.
Man.
This product is not a toy. Then what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Not a flying toy. Ah.
Two watching. That would be me and you.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Oh, no. There's a third.
Who's the third?
I don't know. I'd be.
Oh, now
it's,
there's the third.
it's Tom.
Well,
All right. Let's do our 30 seconds of silence then, since
God
we
damn.
actually have people starting.
Where is the chat? Live chat. There it is.
All right.
Disregard.
Are you good?
No.
All right.
Better.
30 seconds starting now. What's up, sports fans, and welcome back to the Sidebar Cantina Sports Podcast. Are you all right over there?
I was trying not to burp, and that's not a good idea.
All right. Well, I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, I should have thought of something good for this. Fuck it. I fucked up. The C3PO to my R2D2, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
Oh my God. This is not the Star Wars podcast.
Oh,
so.
all right, never mind. We are a division of the Star Wars podcast, though.
Indeed. So how are you?
Yeah, I've been better.
Yeah.
I've been better.
Yeah.
Like, to be perfectly honest.
All right. Fair enough. So, sports.
Sports. Yes, sports. Yay, sports.
This is our amazing intro that we've.
Yeah, we don't have an intro for this yet.
Yeah. So I guess really we're kind of nearing the end of at least college football season, and we're getting close to the end of the regular NFL season. So that's what a majority of our conversation is going to be about this week. Before we get into that, I have a very sad story.
Let's hear it.
So if you follow us in the Sidebar Cantina private Facebook group, you may have saw about a week and a half ago that I started a brand new season in my favorite Madden game, Madden 2005.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And I was going to create a whole bunch of players. I created myself as a halfback. I created you as a quarterback, created a couple of our regular listeners who wanted to also have characters in my season, did the fantasy draft. It was great. I love Madden 2005, by the way. And I'm sorry if you're not a video gamer, sports fans, but the Madden games are fucking phenomenal, especially the ones in the early 2000s. 2005, in my opinion, is still the best Madden game. Anyway, created my players, started my season, did fantasy draft, did my first preseason, did all the training camp, all that shit. I had my team ready to go, did a bunch of trades, had a shitload of draft picks ready to roll for the next time around, because that's what I do when I first start a franchise, is I trade a bunch of players around and I hoard a bunch of draft picks for the next draft. But I digress. Everything was going fucking great for about 7 games. Got through the 4 games of the preseason, 3 games in the regular season, and my fucking hard drive on my original Xbox crashes.
Oh.
I'm like, you motherfucker. Because this is not the first time that this has happened to me. Because I did this on the PlayStation 2 last year. I have an old PlayStation 2 that I fired up last year. It might even been the year before that. And I started a big franchise. I got like 3 years into the franchise, and the fucking PlayStation memory card fucking crashed on me, and I lost all my shit.
Motherfuckers.
I know. So I'm so upset.
They fuck you with the old Xbox and PlayStation.
Yep. So my last option is the GameCube. Praise Nintendo for making good quality hardware. The only problem with that is the Nintendo version of Madden 2005 is dumbed down slightly. There's less music. There's less commentator dialogue because their discs were smaller. So they held less space. So it's slightly dumbed down. The gameplay is practically identical. It's just a weird controller. if you've ever played a GameCube. So that's going to be my next thing. So anyway, any listeners out there, if you want me to make you in my franchise before my fantasy draft of my new league, hit us up in the All Things Star Wars private Facebook group. What the fuck are you doing over there?
This thing is not staying up.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
But it's not, and it's really annoying, and I'm trying to fix it without distracting you.
Is it because your phone weighs like 10 pounds? I don't know.
My phone's lighter than yours, Mr. iPhone Plus guy. This is a brand new phone, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Well, you got the X.
I got
right?
the XR.
Oh.
Or no, I'm sorry, the XS. I got the XS.
Nice.
With the better camera.
Sweet. All right.
Anyway, what?
So,
what were you saying?
Yeah, we have a
Were you
special
going on about
message.
something?
We have a special message from longtime listener Don Solsky, and that was "fuck Ohio!" Exclamation points, all capital letters.
6 of them. 6 exclamation points. Now, see, you don't say it right. It's fuck Ohio.
Right. I'm not as invested.
All
in
of Ohio. All of it.
the whole state of
The
Ohio.
whole fucking state.
Every sports team involved in Ohio.
Every sports team. Yeah. LeBron James, fucking the Browns, the fucking Bengals, all those fuckers. They can all eat a dick, honestly. Especially those fuckers in Columbus. Columbus, Ohio can eat a whole bag of dicks.
So are we going to talk about your boy no longer coaching Ohio State? Or...
That should have made the notes. I can't believe I didn't put it in there
Yeah.
because, of course. Well, all right. So the only thing that we can make, well, first of all, the news is from the college sports perspective is Urban Meyer is going to retire after the Rose Bowl. Right. Cue the celebration music.
I should probably trim that down a little bit.
I love it. But the problem is we don't know exactly when it's over. So it just be, and hopefully truncated silence to take care of that.
Yeah.
So Urban Meyer is going to retire, right? Great.
Yeah.
He's pulled some shit before, like where he's like when he left Florida, like allegations were starting to spring up about some things that happened while he was coaching, and then suddenly had like a heart episode. This is why I make all those comments about it. So he had this like heart episode, and it was like everyone was crying for him or whatever. He walks away from football because the stress was too much for him. And then lo and behold, I'm better. I'm going to fucking Ohio State to go coach up there. Look, diehard Florida fans. Remember Brad, used to fly with us.
Yep.
Went to Florida, diehard fan, flies to the games, the home games all the time, dedicated alumni. As soon as Urban Meyer fucking had this miraculous recovery and went to fucking Ohio State, that guy was like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And I've been fuck that guy since he was at Florida because he was on an SEC team. Now it's even worse. Then he went to Ohio State.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Columbus for some reason, which is where Ohio State is, but fuck Ohio.
Yeah. And
also fuck Fresno.
Yeah, apparently fuck Fresno. Actually, Fresno has always been kind of a dump. Like I've been through there,
guy, so I can only imagine.
I've been through there, 50 times in my life because my grandparents lived up there. My great grandparents, I should say. So, and I went up and visited them a lot as a kid. And besides the water park they had in Fresno can suck a dick. So
fuck Fresno, fuck Ohio. Fuck Ohio State especially. Here's what's going to happen. I'm making a bold prediction here. I bet you that something happens in the Ohio State program. There's going to be sanctions or something comes up, and Urban Meyer is going to be fucking sitting on top of his Scrooge McDuck money that he's made from fucking over these franchises, and he's going to be laughing all the way to the next team he goes and coaches for when he has another miraculous. Oh yeah, the brain tumor. It turns out that there was a smudge on the MRI machine. Hooray, I'm cured. It's like a Joe versus Volcano shit.
Yeah.
Brain cloud.
Right.
Like he's got a fucking brain cloud. And you know what? I wouldn't even feel bad if he fucking stroked out or some bullshit.
Wow.
I just fuck that guy. Man, fuck that guy. And you know what? Really, it's what fucking sucks. And we're going to talk about the Rose Bowl here in a minute. What fucking sucks is that his last game is going to get to be at the fucking Rose Bowl with his number 6 team. I can't tell you how fucking glad I am that the Ohio State didn't make the fucking playoffs. As much as it sucks that there's not a Big Ten team in there, and it's warranted, it's justified, especially based on the record. But that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, he's going to finish his fucking coaching career playing in the fucking Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And one of the, this is the Rose Bowl is significant because it's a Big Ten team and a Pac-12 team.
Yeah.
So
nice venue, by the way. Saw Guns N' Roses and Metallica there in '93.
wow,
Yeah,
that'd been a great Metallica show.
yeah. Oh yeah. Metallica blew them out of the water. Like Guns N'
GNR,
Roses. Yeah, Guns N' Roses were the headliners because they were the bigger band at the time.
Yeah, whatever.
And they went on last, but Metallica fucking blew them out of the water with their show.
Yeah, I believe it. I saw Metallica a few years back at a big open air venue.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was fucking fantastic. Anyway,
we digress.
But we do indeed digress.
Yeah.
That's our thing. It's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, fuck Ohio. Let's move on to something else.
Yeah, Army Navy game.
Yes, so it's Saturday, right here in Philadelphia.
Nice.
I think if we really wanted to go, we could probably get in.
Yeah, we could probably use some of our military clout.
Yeah. But ironically, they weren't giving away any tickets or anything up on the base. I was kind of surprised by that.
Well, it's a work weekend for schmucks like me, so not to be confused with David Schmuck.
Yeah. Although that was referenced in some recent Star Wars, but we're not going to talk about that. So yeah, Army Navy. My question is, who do you pick in the Army Navy game?
I mean, I got to go with Army because we're as Air Force guys, we're more closely tied to the Army, so I have much more loyalty to them. Plus, my wife's cousin went to the academy. So
your wife's cousin's sister's former roommate?
No,
I mean,
just her
might as well. Okay, sure.
I mean,
he went to the academy. What's the academy?
The fucking West Point or whatever.
Okay, I believe they call it something else, not the academy, because the academy, generally speaking, is the Air Force Academy.
Right. But well, it's whatever. West Point, right?
It is West Point.
Yeah. So I know things, god damn it. And I have no ties to the Navy. A lot of hot chicks in the Navy, but I mean, beyond that,
at least on Instagram, they're hot.
Yeah.
Isn't there a picture of you floating around with somebody who's
my cousin did 4 years in the
Navy.
How
the fuck do I remember that and you didn't?
Well, he was only in for 4 years.
You have a young Jason Roscom with his all two stripes and a sailor with all his white stuff on.
Yeah.
In a Glamour Shots picture, Jason's like holding his head up like this for a YouTube audience like this.
I think he's exaggerating this a little bit.
Well, look.
All right, we got a lot of notes to get through.
Just like your ties to the Army, fucking whatever. Oh, well, we're in the Air Force.
So clearly you're pulling for the Navy because you're getting so pissed off that I selected Army.
It wouldn't matter. I'd pick something to pick at anyway. That's just my thing. It's what I do.
Right.
So I'm a Navy brat.
Right.
So like as a kid, I had pennants on the wall. I've always collected pennants since I was like a kid. My dad would bring his stuff home, and I have like original like 1980. Or late 70s, early 80s Eagles and Sixers and Phillies shit. And I happen to have a Navy pennant. It says, "Get 'em, go Navy." And like I said, being a Navy brat, my dad being in the Navy, my grandmother was in the Navy in World War II.
Nice.
My grandfather was in the Army, so there was always like a little bit of contention, Army, Navy.
Sure.
He was a paratrooper. So but I always went for the Navy. I've actually had the opportunity to go down to Annapolis and see a football game down there. Like I got to watch all the middies march into the stadium and do all that stuff. Nice. Annapolis is a beautiful, beautiful town.
Yeah.
On the Chesapeake there, all the sailboats and the campus is amazing. I haven't actually been to West Point. I hear really nice things about West Point. I'm not trashing the Army for that. They just happen to pick a good location to put their garbage.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a part of me. There's a little voice in the back of my head. Is like, all the Civil War studying that I did, and like all this history that came out of out of West Point, and yeah, fuck Army.
Wow.
But yeah, and it's just like I can barely root for Air Force as a team. I think the only reason I root for Air Force in any stretch is because we know so many people that played for Air Force. But yeah, that connection with like, well, we're more closely related to the Army. Yeah, like some correlation between somebody and their cousin. I don't know. I had something for that. I lost it though.
All right,
we'll fix that in post.
No, we will not.
And obviously, Bronco Fett is pulling for Army. And I would hope that all the Marines out there are going to be pulling for Navy, since the Marines, the Navy is the Marines' favorite taxi, as they would all tell people.
Of course. All right. So college football playoffs.
Well, one more thing about the Army Navy.
For fuck's sake.
They are going to be doing College Game Day in Philly. in preparation for Army Navy game.
Nice.
Officially, this is the last game of the college football regular season is the Army Navy game. So it's by itself. It's the only game that's going to be going on. I think I say that, and there may be some really obscure bowl game. I'm not 100% sure, but I know this game gets the biggest coverage. And fun fact, this game has been like for years and years was played in Philadelphia in the old JFK Stadium, and like it has a huge history being associated with Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and went through a stage where it was going back and forth between DC. But Philly's where the Army Navy game belongs, you know, between the history of the country, the formation of the Navy and the Marines all are associated with Philadelphia. You got the shipyard right there. It's, you know, if I was going to go to the Army Navy game, I'd park in the shipyard and walk through the Army Navy game, you know. So yeah, it's just it's where it belongs, and it's always a good time. I'm sure game day is going to set up probably down at Liberty Park or something.
Oh, of course,
to have the Independence Hall backdrop and shit like that. So yeah, look forward to seeing that. It's probably going to be too fucking cold for me to go out there. I had thoughts about, I'll go out to game day and I'll try and get a sign up for you know, I'll put one side All Things Star Wars podcast and the other side I'll say something rude about the Army. Army being the same team that fucking almost killed Air Force's mascot, lest we forget.
That is true.
How dare you support that team?
Yeah.
And if they actually beat Navy, they'll be I think the first Army team to actually have 10 wins in like some ridiculous amount of time.
Damn.
So, but they're not going to win. So
wow,
go Navy.
All right.
Anyway,
football playoffs, college football.
So obviously the big things coming out, like we're taping us on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
All of the bowl games have been selected. The college football playoffs have been set up. You know, and our final weeks of the college football season have concluded. So I think I know we should go to game day. Thank you, Bronco Fett. See, I put this up here deliberately so I wasn't staring at it like this.
Yeah.
So kind of like how you have it set up.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to work this weekend, so I will not be going to any game day.
And it's too fucking cold. I'm a pussy. I don't like the cold. But we'll see if it's whatever. It was snowing today, and you know, I don't live in Boise, so I'm not excited about the snow. Yeah. Fuck the snow. Sidebar. How are we doing on time? Terrible.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I already brought this up to you, but I still like as soon as I mentioned snow, it fucking ramped itself back up in my head. This fucking twat. It's the only word I have right now to describe this individual. I don't know if it's a male or female. Couldn't see. It's dark out, whatever. Coming down this major road and being in traffic, like I'm talking like stop and go traffic. Like Jason drives on this road every day. It's like you're moving to get 100 feet. It takes you like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So we're in the stop and go and then peel off of the main road to get onto a turn that goes onto the road that Jason lives off of.
Yep. And
there's a yield sign there.
Yeah.
There's no traffic coming the other direction. There's no traffic in front of this car. Right. And what they should have done is obey the fucking yield sign. Do we all know
nobody coming?
Yeah. Do we know what yield signs are, boys and girls? Because this fucking idiot didn't.
Yeah.
And with their fucking piece of shit fucking 6-cylinder Mustang with the law enforcement supporting tags, which you're probably only using to get out of a fucking ticket. Because if that was a cop driving that fucking car, he should not be allowed to drive a fucking car anymore. That should be it. Nope, you're done. And so this person stopped at the fucking yield sign, forced me to slam on my fucking brakes because there's not this amazing amount of following distance when you're in fucking traffic. So I had maybe half of a car length to be able to stop. And I'm looking past that car. I'm like, well, they're going to yield. Let me look over and see if I'm going to be able to yield.
Yeah.
And they fucking stopped. They stopped dead. And then we keep driving. And then like, I'm the fucking asshole that stopped at a yield sign. He or she brake checks me fucking later. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. So I like, no, fuck you. Like, go ahead, please do something stupid because I'm going to be out there and beat you with your own fucking arms. Oh, that shit, man. Fucking road rage is if you've listened to the All Things Star Wars podcast at all, I've come in here a few times on some road rage.
Yeah.
And this was just happening one of those days. And I kind of needed the adrenaline boost anyway, I guess. But
get y'all amped up.
Yeah, motherfucker, man. And then they fucking dodged into another lane and went around as we got past Ashland there. The thing. So like I was going to do something like, fuck you. You stopped at a fucking yield sign. Stopped. Stopped completely with no fucking traffic in front of you. Were you on your phone? Did you think that, oh no, is this a stop sign? Let me stop real quick. Fuck you.
Well, it's like the same people who don't know how to use circles.
They don't know how to use circles. Look, this is fucking New Jersey. It's the northeastern part of the United States. This is why the snow came into it. People, there's some snow on the fucking ground, and people that have lived their whole lives all of a sudden freak out because there's fucking snow on the ground. Jesus Christ, it's fucking snow. You live in the northeastern United States. If you had California plates and you just came in from out of town, okay, I got you. You're driving a piece of shit Ford Mustang that I don't know if you're just scared to drive it or you're just a shitty driver or both or just a fucking twat.
Yeah.
But you should not exist. You should be, nope, dead, done. But boop, take out, throw away.
Dave just turned into Thanos. He's going to start like picking people off.
Yep, that's right.
Nice.
Oh, if I had my choice.
Oh, God. So all right. Anyway, can we get back to the topic at hand, please?
We were talking about snow and college football playoffs. So, all right. I'm going to go ahead and I made a bold prediction, before the sleet along with snow, the slate of games on Saturday. And one of those was what's in
his last comment.
Lifetime.
Well, thankfully that's not being projected at me this time. So
I'm gonna go high knife hand.
Yeah.
So I predicted that Oklahoma would be in the top 4. Really wasn't that bold of a prediction. I thought that as long as they beat Texas fairly soundly, it was a no-brainer. Because usually if you have an undefeated season, like you would overcome a 12-1 team. So going through the top 5, you got Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and then Oklahoma is the 4th, right? So I predicted Oklahoma would get in, and it did. So hooray for me. So we got Alabama versus Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. I put the times and shit in there. We don't even have to talk about it. Who cares? Yeah, everyone has the internet, obviously, because you're listening or watching to us. To us, 3PO.
Yeah.
English is not my first language, apparently, nor my second. So I don't know. The big takeaway from this is there's not a whole lot of controversy in this. Ohio State deserved to not be in it. Michigan deserved not to be anywhere close to it because of those losses. I think there's a conversation to be had as we go into next season, looking at what the preseason ranks are as to like what sort of weight the Big Ten schedule has. I mean, Northwestern lost the Big Ten championship game to Ohio State and dropped to fucking like 17th or something. Like it was some ridiculous fall.
Damn.
And they had won their half of the Big Ten. So I think Northwestern, they kind of got a participation trophy on this one for getting through there, like a really weak Wisconsin team. And honestly, that half of the Big Ten is weaker. But yeah, so no real surprises aside from who was going to be number 4. That's the only debate that was there.
Yeah. So stupid question. How long has this new playoff system been in effect in college football?
I want to say this is the 5th year.
Okay. Because as you may or may not know, I am not a big college football person, but
if you've listened to this thing for at least 2 episodes, you damn well had better know that Jason's not a college football person.
But I do remember back in the day when I used to watch a lot of Sports Center, used to listen to a lot of sports radio. I'd hear these people constantly bitching about the college ranking system and the fact that they had no playoffs and everything else. And then I heard that there was talk of potentially adding playoffs.
Yeah,
so
that's the 5th year.
Okay.
Started in 2014.
All right. So they finally actually did pull the trigger on this and made a playoff. So they basically just take the top 4 ranked teams and put them into a bracket.
So all right. So here's the big thing without going too much into it. So we can talk about the other stuff. Last week we wanted to break this down a lot more going into the college football playoffs, but
we run out of time.
Yeah, we try and keep this short, which means I should probably stop talking. But regardless, so what happened is they went from the BCS, right? That's everything you heard about was the BCS, right? Oh, the BCS sucks. It's computer driven. They take all these analytics and that's how they rank the teams.
Yep.
And so throughout the regular season, you would have AP poll, you'd have, and then you'd have the BCS rankings, right? So I think there's one more and I can't think of it right now. I suck. So then the AP poll is just basically the sports writers and everything. It has no correlation to the BCS.
Right.
So the BCS system is what they said was flawed because, getting to to pick a national championship way too heavily on the bigger conferences. And Bronco Fett can attest to this. It wasn't necessarily fair to like the WAC, the Mountain West, the Big 12, those teams. It was too heavily favored to the Big 10, the SEC teams and shit like that. So anyway, so they went to this college football playoff, right? Oh, this is going to be the savior. Wrong. The first college football playoff council. So there's like these disciples, basically. It's like, I think it's a council of 12. I have to look it up. They on the original one, Condoleezza Rice was on this board.
Okay.
Right? And we could talk about Condoleezza Rice and her affiliation with football and all kinds of other stuff too.
Yeah.
She's a fucking genius. But she was one of the people who was on this thing. So the idea of the human beings that were going to pick these last few weeks of college to make the decision for the college football playoffs is that there'd be a human element to it. They'd actually be able to analyze, like give the eye test, as it were, for some of these games.
But at the same time, you're also adding bias into this.
Absolutely. You can't be a human being without some sort of bias, right? So regardless of all that, the first fucking one, Ohio State wins, and then I don't even want to get into all that because there's not enough time. But the bottom line is this: excuse me, it's still flawed. Honestly, the way to fix the playoff system is, to me, is to go into like a bigger bracket type system. That way, more teams have a chance to really compete for the title, and then it kind of takes. Yeah, strength of schedule is going to get you to a certain seed, and then you can just go out and play football. Put my team against your team and may the best team win it that day. It's just like, I mean, to me, the NCAA tournament, the men's basketball tournament is an ideal setup where you start talking about Cinderella teams, teams that are like the 16th seed in their bracket and ended up, going to the Final Four.
Yeah.
The bowl games, the college football playoff, the tournaments and things like that they play in basketball, all these things have a monetary association to the schools.
Yeah.
So by making the playoffs, by winning a national championship and all that type of shit, it brings prestige, ability to get more players and recruiting and all this other shit. So it's not like it's just a bullshit thing. Like it's, it's just a bullshit bowl game. The bowl games have weight depending on which one you're in. It has weight to the players who are trying to make the NFL because if they play in a higher visibility bowl, then more people are going to see them. More scouts are going to be there and shit like that. More film is going to be available because they're playing a better opponent. So ideally you want to have the best ranking you can finish with throughout the year and get into the best bowl game you can.
Sure.
So all that being said, I don't remember what I was saying.
We were just talking about playoffs, but
I know the playoffs.
I get the gist.
Yeah, so that's. Oh, you started with a question. Number.
Yeah.
Enough college football, hockey time. There's no hockey today.
Uh-oh.
There's no hockey.
You might tune out. Don't tune out though, because we got Star Wars after this. Big news in Star Wars. So
it's Bronco Fett. Look, we'll get this out of the way really quick. Just so Bronco Fett, they suffered a loss to Fresno State, and I'm not even going to begin to analyze the game because I didn't watch it. So. They are going to a bowl. They finished the football season 25th overall in the country, and they're going to the First Responder Bowl against Boston College and Dallas. They're going to stomp the shit out of those guys, honestly. Bronco Fett's football season might be over. However, they got one more game where they're going to stomp the shit out of somebody just because they're going to be angry.
Yeah.
And, good, because fuck Boston. You notice everything that I really don't like gets fucked somehow?
Yeah.
Don't take that the way it might sound. don't just
right.
Whatever. I was referring to how I used the word fuck. You know what? Never mind. So anyway, BSU, sad face, but they get their bowl game. They still finish in the top 25. So next bowl game, Penn State finished out at number 12. They're playing the Citrus Bowl against a really actually kind of a streaky Kentucky team. They're ranked 14th. That's actually, I think, is going to be a lot better game. It's a New Year's Day bowl game. We talked about the New Year's 6.
Yep.
It's a New Year's Day bowl game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Kentucky's they're going to put some points up against Penn State, unless Penn State shows up like they did against Maryland. But this Kentucky team's a much better team than Maryland. So,
yeah.
But I want to see McSorley break the records that he wants to and finish strong. hopefully he'll go into the NFL and find success somewhere. There's a Michigan might be playing. I don't even care.
Of course not.
Of course not. Michigan finished out number 7. They're playing against Florida in the Peach Bowl. Brad will be there for that. There was words initially that Penn State might actually go to that bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about like a Big Ten team coming in, and ended up being Michigan. So I'm not flying down to Atlanta for that.
Yeah.
But potentially I was thinking about going down for that.
Oh,
That's on December 29th, same day as the college football playoffs. Every time I hear it now. And then and I only threw this in there because it just pisses me off that Ohio State is ranked number 6. They're playing number 9 Washington in the Rose Bowl. I mean, the Rose Bowl is just like the tournament of roses and all the pomp and circumstance that go into that. I mean, it's a big deal, and I hate the fact that Urban Meyer gets to finish his fucking career in there. God, Michigan had one fucking job.
All right. Well,
it's going to be a theme of our NFL talk too.
Yep. So we're 30 minutes in, so let's keep this rolling right into the NFL. So we're going to talk about the NFL games as quickly as Kareem Hunt kicks a woman on the ground.
Is that too soon? That might be too soon. I was going to read that. That way, you're already getting yourself in trouble on the boards, as it were.
Oh, that is true.
So I was going to go ahead and say that because I have more innocence.
So let me ask you this. What do you think about his situation? Like, and this goes back to the Ray Rice thing too. Like, what do you personally think about like the NFL essentially just kicking these guys out of the league?
I don't have a problem with it
when shit like this goes down.
I honestly don't have a problem with it. I mean, let's face it. The NFL is a brand, right? Mm-hmm. First of all, there's never should be a situation where you're fucking not only throwing a woman to the ground, but kicking her.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that, dude? Mm-hmm. Like, you're not, unless you claim some sort of fucking TBI or some PTSD for some shit like that, which I'm sorry, you still don't get a pass. There was somebody else in the room with him. Like, how do you that level of aggression against a woman can't be tolerated. Yeah. And for the NFL to from a business standpoint, like, this is affecting their brand. They have to eliminate it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about the Monday night game when we here in a second, but I'm going to say that ESPN, they did one of the shit commentators, and it might have been like Jason Witten apparently had like grown up in a abusive household or something like that. And he got all worked up and not that he shouldn't.
Sure. Yeah.
But I will say that the question was asked, what is the NFL doing to help players not be in this situation? I mean, they're playing a really aggressive game, right?
Yeah.
So, what is the NFL doing to help prevent something like this? Just as like, what is the NFL doing to make sure, or the NBA doing to make sure that a kid gets all this money and doesn't go fucking blow it, so that if he snaps it, he's screwed.
Well, the NFL does that too. Like, they had that rookie symposium. And
yeah, exactly. And that's what they, I think that's a bigger question but you have these high profile, like it or not, these are high profile people. Mm-hmm. We follow them every Sunday. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that you can have something like this happen and not deal with it swiftly. I don't think that it's inappropriate. I mean, all right, you might be taking away a man's livelihood. I mean, the NFL, I think, was still investigating as it occurred last, but the team released them flat out. Like, we're not dealing with this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they flicked that booger immediately, and as they should have, and then leave it to the NFL to decide whether or not he's going to play again, or if another team's going to take a chance. Because the story was the Redskins.
They took the guy that the 49ers cut.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago. Yeah, they might as well. Like, people don't like the Redskins already, so they might as well just fucking go all in. Dude, if they're going to be like the ire of like the butt hurt, then they might as well fucking sign all these fucking wife beaters and everything else.
Look, so I'll talk about the Saints Cowboys game after this, but so the Redskins Eagles game was Monday night, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons we didn't tape on Monday night, that and the fact that I had a lodge event. But listen, Eagles win. Colt McCoy snaps it. Fucking hooray.
That's fucking crazy.
Dude, and he did it with his own leg whip. How fucking sad. So it might as well have been Chris Collingsworth fucking telling the story about this fucking. The announcers were so fucking bad on that Monday night game. I can't. I'm pretty sure I listened to the radio and over the TV the last Monday night game for the Eagles. So I had never heard this commentator core. They are fucking terrible. Terrible. This Booger McFarland guy who's got his fucking cart, I was on a text string. It was like that old ass. It's amazing he can still fucking even talk, let alone talk about football.
Right.
So the commentator core is terrible. Susie Colbert still, she's okay, but that's not the on-field commentating.
Right.
And the sideline girl was good too. It's just the fucking guys are talking all the time.
Yeah.
Jason Witten, fun story. If you didn't watch the game, so Eagles, our ultimate fucking hatred is against the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys,
of course.
So Witten tells this story, or the guy next to him was telling the story about how Witten was checking into the hotel they were in Philly, and the bellman basically said, "Hey, Witten, go fuck yourself." There isn't a more Philly thing in the fucking world than something like that happening.
So the hotel employee
recognizing that, hey, that's Jason Witten, and telling that guy to go fuck himself. And you should expect nothing less in Philly. And Witten didn't. He's like, yeah, they don't like me here at all.
Yeah, your fans are something else, man.
But we don't fucking that's not in here. This note about the fucking jackwagon who in Pittsburgh that choked the fucking pregnant girl on video.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Oh my God. We'll get to that in a second.
Well, yeah, and
apparently this is the abuse portion of the NFL podcast.
And I'll tell you what, right now, Ben Roethlisberger should be thanking his lucky fucking stars that the shit that he didn't happen now. Because if that happened now, he'd be fucking
he'd be done. He'd be done. There's a lot of those guys, honestly. Yeah. They're trying to. Luckily, they've matured at this point.
Yeah.
But some of the shit that they pulled back in the day, any of those guys.
Yeah, but if that Roethlisberger thing went down now, he'd be gone.
So, Eagles, right at this point, in my mind, they have to win out. They got to beat the Cowboys this coming week.
Yeah, that's more important than anything.
They have to beat the Cowboys. They're going to have to find a way to beat the Rams. If they're actually legitimately belonging in the playoffs, they have to beat these teams.
Yeah,
and then we'll see what happens.
Because they'll see the Rams in the playoffs. Yeah. if they make it.
Every time you say the word playoffs, I think playoffs.
Thank you, Jim Mora.
Yeah. So anyway, one of the things that bothered me about the Monday Night broadcast, besides the announcers, was this: there was almost a full 4 to 5 minute commentary going on while the game was being played about the Kareem Hunt issue and about violence in the NFL and what they're doing. And, Witten's talking and the other guy's talking, and then Booger McFarland guy is fucking talking. And then all of them are talking about it while the fucking game is going on.
Yeah.
This isn't like, hey, let's take a break from our commercial. ESPN needs to get off their fucking soapbox. Whether or not the issue is legitimate or not is one thing. But basically taking over a fucking broadcast with this stuff is inappropriate. If you really feel that strongly about it, then guess what? Why don't you eliminate a commercial break while the NFL is on a TV timeout? Then you can talk about it. Because guess what? That means that you're sacrificing part of your revenue stream for something you actually care about, instead of talking about something because, this is topical and we want to prove how fucking sensitive we are.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the most disingenuous fucking thing, except for Witten, who went through that experience or whatever else. Like, do something that actually means something, as opposed to just hijacking the fucking football game.
Sure, but I mean, that goes back to Disney and what they've done with Star Wars lately.
I don't know. ESPN has been kind of going on this track even before they started being owned by ABC. This is something that ESPN just in general has started turning. They're riding this kind of this wave of whatever's going on in society right now. But however, they're trying to build their brand on it. Like that to me, it was the most disingenuous thing in the world.
Yeah.
To do that while the game was being played. Like that, none of that shit is unplanned. There's no like unplanned rhetoric in those things.
Oh yeah.
They have a script that they go by. At this TV break, we're going to talk about this. At this TV break, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
If there's a first down and we have a break, we're going to talk about this while they're,
it's easily the highest rated show on cable. So there's no way they don't have some overhead,
I'm telling you, all that shit is scripted out. So at that particular break, they were definitely going to talk about that shit. And you know what? Do it over a commercial stop. Like, hey, we are taking all the revenue that we would have made during this commercial break, and we're going to give it to a battered woman's clinic or something like that, and then talk about it over that commercial break. That would fucking mean something. That would mean you actually stand for something.
Sure. Yeah.
Because, they do the V Foundation thing for cancer, which they were doing before ESPN was part of ABC, and that shit I can get behind. That means they're actually sacrificing revenue and shit like that, and they're dedicating airtime for it,
putting their money where their mouth is.
Exactly. For this fucking thing to happen on Monday night, I'm not speaking to the fact that it wasn't, poignant and that it wasn't relevant, and it's definitely important. However, be more genuine about it, and actually do something about it as opposed to just talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what? Fucking talk, even though we're kind of talking like through all this shit, but talk is weak.
Yeah.
Just talking about something, saying like, words hurt more, whatever. No, actions mean something. Empty words don't do shit. And the people that are hurt by empty words are fucking foolish.
Yeah.
That allow themselves to be hurt by empty words. Actions mean a lot more. The actions that Kareem Hunt took and the actions that the NFL took against him or the Chiefs took against him, that's the highlight of the story. What is being done to make sure that this behavior doesn't happen again? Not talking about the fucking issue over a goddamn football game. And whether it was the Eagles playing or anybody else, I'd feel the same way.
Yeah, because most people did not tune in to listen to them go on about this.
It's ESPN being really disingenuous. And ESPN, all these fucking games we talked about in college football, which one of those is not on ESPN or ABC? All of them are. Yeah. All of them are. They have the football franchise right now, except for the games that are fucking being played. The CBS contracts, the Fox contracts, and the, and Sunday Night Football, they all do it. They all do it now. And to me, it's just, okay, do something about it.
Yep.
Do something about it.
Do something. To respond to Bronco Fett's last comment about the Captain Marvel trailer, which I guess debuted on Monday Night Football.
It did.
If you're suffering from insomnia and you want to put yourself to sleep, watch any of these Captain Marvel trailers because they look completely lifeless and boring. And they'll put you right to fucking sleep.
I was not enamored with it at all. And we could talk more about that during the Star Wars podcast because we're going to be talking about trailers. So
yep. So
anyway, back to football.
Yeah, let's wrap this up because we're getting close on time.
The fucking Cowboys beat the Saints. It was 13-10.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees, basically any chances he had of being MVP of the league this year are fucking done. Then that's the problem with Drew Brees. He's going to have to throw up a stinker.
Yeah.
I needed him to fucking win that game.
Mm-hmm.
I needed him to win that game. I needed to put that fucking team on his shoulders and win that fucking game and prove they deserved to be one of the better teams in the NFL.
Yeah, because everybody's been sucking their dick over the last few weeks.
Oh, so hard and long and taking it right in the fucking face.
Mm-hmm.
And what showed up? They fucking lose to the Cowboys 13-10. It was... I really want to talk about how the fucking right now the Monday Night Football product is just unwatchable, and I think genuinely speaking, like it's shit. It's a topic for another time, unfortunately. Let's just wrap up with the Niners Seahawks, whatever.
Yeah, I put a post on Facebook before that game, like Sunday morning. I'm like, can the 49ers just please beat the Seahawks?
Not in that tone. It was like, can they please just beat the Seahawks?
That's all I wanted at this point. And of course they couldn't. They got their asses fucking handed to them, as I expected they would. But I was just hoping maybe for a nice upset, maybe just once. I don't think they've beaten Seattle in like 6 years. They play them twice a year, and I think they've lost to them every single time they've played them for like the last 6 years.
I don't know why you would think they would beat them. I mean, well, I think that's another, like, Pete Carroll is one of those fucking college coaches that I hate and hate him even more that he's in the NFL because that guy needs to fall on an each string and die.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm just hoping the 49ers lose out, get us the number one pick, and then
squander it like they tend to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Chiefs Raiders. The score makes it look like there was a game there. I don't remember hearing anything about that. I don't know if the Chiefs second team or the chefs, as I
that's great, but who are the chefs? Great oogly moogly.
The one comment I will make for sorry the Raiders lost, guys, all our Raider fans out there, but I just want to see Andy Reid win a Super Bowl.
Even if it's not with the Eagles.
Even if it's not with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like, look,
he gave you guys a lot of consistent years.
He gave us a lot of wins. Gave us a lot of wins, and it was exciting football to watch. It was a good time to be an Eagles fan in that time frame, opening up Lincoln Financial, and winning those NFC Championship games, beating the Giants and the Cowboys consistently. We had a conversation about this at work where we talked about Mike McCarthy got fired, right?
Yes. Weren't we just talking about him last week too? About how he was a shitty offensive coordinator?
Yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, oh, wasn't he? Yeah. The funny thing is though, the Packers lose, and he's fired like within an hour of the end of the game. It's like, pack your shit and go.
Yeah, the afternoon games were still going when the headline hit. Mike McCarthy fired from the Packers,
which isn't surprising. I mean, he was coached there for 13 years, and your shit gets old. Mm-hmm. That's the same thing that happened in Philadelphia with Andy Reid.
Yep.
Excuse me. Whatever happens in the front office or anything that's going on, the bottom line is like eventually, even if you change your playbook a certain way, your style, what you're doing is just, it gets stale. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's time to move on. I think Mike McCarthy will find a job with another team. Who knows? Maybe he'll be the Browns head coach. Wouldn't that be fucking hilarious?
That would be fun.
But he'll fall on his feet somewhere, and he had a good run. He had, man, I don't know how you have Aaron Rodgers in the driver's seat and then still manage to put up a few seasons of stinkers, or not address the needs adequately that the team. But that's, again, I'm not a Packers fan, so I can't really speak to that. But yeah, so as far as Andy Reid goes, if he wins with the Chiefs, good on him. Yeah. I mean, he gave Philadelphia a lot of good years. I don't hate the guy. I was definitely on that train that said he needed to go out of Philly though in those last couple of years. And unfortunately, we had Chip Kelly fucking poured all over us like some fucking you can't do that on television slime.
Yeah.
And we're still washing that off.
Yeah. Luckily, you had that nice little bounce back.
Yeah, we did. We did indeed. And now we're yo-yoing back towards the bottom of it, I guess. But we'll see if we can still make the playoffs and salvage something. Then cool.
Yep.
Anyway, how much time we got left?
We're at about 45 minutes right now, so we can start kind of winding down.
All right, so just a quick fantasy hit. I made the playoffs in both my leagues.
Nice.
So I'm happy about that.
Very cool.
I got in the money league that you used to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my work cut out for me. I'm playing Snedeker.
Of course.
Again. God, that motherfucker. I hope you're listening, Snetty, because yes, I'm going to trash you. If I win, oh God, it's going to be glorious. So yeah, it'd be nice to win some money this year. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right. Well, big weekend this weekend. Some more high profile NFL games and obviously the college stuff. So
yeah, I mean, there's going to be a kind of a, not a taking a knee necessarily, but you got some of the lesser bowl games that are going to be happening between now and then.
Yeah.
As the NFL season starts gearing towards, it's a symbiotic relationship where you see these bowl games, the high profile bowl games, kind of overtake the NFL. So the way the schedules kind of overlap, it works itself out. But this week for me, it's the big one is the Cowboys and Eagles. So it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be a game where we basically shove Ezekiel Elliott's fucking calf muscle into his fucking asshole, and he never plays football again.
Yeah,
he's an Ohio State fucking shitbag.
Yeah, and you guys are playing in Dallas this time, right?
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. And you know what? Historically, we play well there.
Okay.
So oh God, so many times we were down in Dallas. I want to take a giant shit on that fucking star. Go out there in the middle of that fucking star and just take a huge. It would be worth going to jail for it, honestly.
Just like take a big dump right on that.
I'd be a huge smile, not even drunk, not even anything. I mean, that would just be like I'd be overcome with emotion and just go big. And it's diarrhea shit too. Like have Mexican food for like 6 fucking days in a row and just Mexican food and fucking Imodium. So I wouldn't shit at all. And then like dry crackers and everything else. So all of a sudden it's like ready to explode at me and just run out of my food like, ah!
Yeah.
Just absolute blow all over the fucking field. Yeah. Oh, I gotta be fucking fantastic.
I'm sure that's going to be a primary topic next week for the sports show. And
yeah, because it's either going to be the end of the Eagles season or
it's going to be, we beat the fucking Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, all right. And you know me, as a 49ers fan, I love to see the Cowboys lose.
Yep.
So I'll be rooting for the Eagles in that game.
So I think what I want to do for next week is we're going to start sliding a little bit of hockey stuff in there just to be a sports, more of a sports podcast.
All right.
And
that's the one where they don't throw the ball through a hoop, right?
That is indeed.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right.
Yes is the answer to that question. And Yeah, so let's start talking some hockey, and there's some big baseball stuff that happened too, if you're a Phillies fan at least. So I'm going to start doing a countdown of pitchers and catchers here real soon.
Oh boy,
as the football season starts drawing an end.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for everybody for listening. And if you're fans of Star Wars and you're only here for the sports, check us out on the All Things Star Wars podcast as well. And until next week, Dave, fuck off.
Yeah, fuck you too.
Yes, I love it. All right, come back. We're gonna do All Things Star Wars right after this. Thrawn, woo!